Alyssa Rallo Bennett, how are you? Great to have you on the show again. So excited to talk to you again.
Likewise, it's really great to see you.
Yeah, great to see you too. I know you're busy. I know you just were in in Spain, right? Or Portugal?
In Lisbon. Yeah, no, you're in Lisbon.
Oh, Lisbon. Okay, cool. Very nice. How was that? It looked fantastic on your Facebook page.
I think, oh, wow. Yeah, it was unbelievable. I've never been to a city like that before. It was beautiful. It's hilly. It's not on a grid, so it's very different than a lot of cities that we know. It kind of has the hills of San Francisco,
Right.
but it's old European with castles and tiled roads and tiled buildings. It's really neat.
Right. Oh, yeah. I
Beautiful.
mean, it looked absolutely beautiful. Definitely a place I would like to visit one day. You have a lot of brand new music, right? I wanted to talk about. Of course, you told me about The Pitch, which is a new song. Also, uh, don't Wake Me, right? Another great song that you put out in closets, right? Great music. Tell us about putting this music together.
Well, after the first album that I made, Anymore, which we got to talk about last time, which is
Right.
still out there, I've just been working on, I guess, what would be the next album.
Okay.
And so decided to release the first three singles.
Mhm.
And yeah, I just keep working on it's just I really love the process of getting to kind of grapple with all the things that are going on in life and put it into music. I've been working also, my husband and I, who are filmmaking partners,
Right.
we have been starting to do some music together with a group called the Yesters. And
Uh-huh.
so I've also been doing some of that. And we came out with a song called Kingston City Morgue.
Oh, nice.
It has a cool music video, and it's been really exciting to start to get to do music with him too.
That's awesome. I know you do a lot of work with your husband, right? You guys have a film studio. Tell us about that as well.
Well, we founded Stones Tree Studios together, and we have been making movies for quite a while.
Right.
And we just released, I guess it's our fourth feature film called The Arrival, which he wrote, I directed.
Right.
And Gravitas Ventures is picked it up, and they released it, so it's on a lot of platforms right now. And I guess people can see it online. I should have
Right.
it at the tip of my tongue, all the places that it's streaming. But it got really, really nice reviews. We were thrilled because it's film reviews can make or break you. Oh my goodness.
Absolutely. It
And
was here in the Big Apple too, right? The Big Apple Film Festival. You did pretty well there.
we were at Big Apple, and we also premiered in Martha's Vineyard, and it's just been received better than I had thought. And
Is it about like playwrights?
well, there is
Sort
a
of?
character who's a writer. There is
Okay.
a character who's a writer, and it's about a group of people that randomly get thrown together because they're meeting for very different reasons, although they're looking for some answers.
Okay.
And it turns out they all end up in the same particular bar on an afternoon, and some of them have a lot more in common than they realize because they're kind of looking for the same person who has the answers to that. And I guess what sort of unravels is people kind of get to grapple with some of their issues and the problems, and some of the things that they're struggling with are boundaries being crossed. And because of all these crossovers, it kind of comes out, but I don't want to give a spoiler. So it does come out that they kind of do find some answers. And the most important part is that people kind of find the light and some love. And so it has a kind of romantic thread a little bit through this chance between the bartender and the writer at the bar. But I don't want to say any more than that. But
Yeah.
actually, I just pulled it up. It's playing on Apple TV. It's called The Arrival, and it's on Prime Video, Amazon Home, Google Play, Microsoft Xbox, Vimeo, Fandango, and YouTube
Oh,
movies.
wow.
So it's a lot of places.
So awesome. And of course, you've been around doing this a long time. You started out with some amazing people, right? Didn't you work with like Franco Zeffirelli at one point in your career?
I did. I can't believe you remember that.
I do.
Yeah, I worked on the film Endless Love
Right.
back. Yeah, and Brooke Shields and was in it too,
Wow.
and Keanu Reeves had like a cameo,
Oh, wow.
uh, and it was a really wonderful experience. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, he did, of course, Jesus of Nazareth, one of, I think, the best Jesus movies, one of the
that,
best to date, you know.
that
I mean,
anybody's done, and of course,
yeah,
the Romeo. I still think his Romeo and Juliet is iconic.
absolutely.
Yeah, so
Absolutely.
it's
I
such
mean,
a
what
beautiful.
amazing work. Yeah. And also, you worked with Scorsese a little bit too, right?
Well, I was on a film with Scorsese, so
Okay.
I got to do a little bit of work with him and watch him work, which
Oh,
was, now being a director, I didn't realize that being on his set, I was an actor on his set back then,
mhm.
but being on his set, how much I learned from watching him, because he has so much fun on a set,
Mhm.
and he's so plugged into the actors, which is something that's so natural and organic to me, having been an actor.
Right.
And so it's a kind of like empathic thing that you do with your actors, and you sort of help them do their best performance and kind of, So I learned so much from him. And actually, that film uh, that he was directing, I think it had De Niro. Yeah, it was with, I think it was called They All Laughed or something like that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow. And so tell us about the music. How did that all start for you? I mean, I know you've been a big music fan, and you started singing at an early age, and you also played musical instruments, right? Tell us about that. How did that all start for you?
Well, my husband is a writer and he's my
Mhm.
partner, and he's an amazing writer. And he actually, he does write most of the things that we do.
Okay.
And I love I develop his material, and I love directing most of the features we've done. I did some co-writing on The Pack, which was the first, but really he wrote the first draft.
Hmm.
And I don't know, my father's a poet, and so somehow, I don't know, that was in my genes to want to write, but I hadn't really found the place.
Right.
And I felt there's something very personal about getting to write your own script or your own lyrics.
Right.
And just due to a lot of struggling that I've gone through in life and all the things, I'm kind of about making the dark into something beautiful and constructive or something positive. I think I just needed to write. And
Mm.
that was sort of where I found a place to write. And then somehow the music and the fact that I had some background and had played guitar, I'd played piano, and then I had picked up guitar again. Like it was just one of those things that just kind of all came together.
Right.
And I just discovered something that, storytelling is storytelling.
Right.
So whether you're telling it with a film or you're telling it with a song, I don't know. I kind of fell in love with making music as well.
I know you love storytelling, that's for sure, and you do such a great job of that with your music. I mean, the great songs, of course. Um, Don't Wake Me Up, Closets, right? The Pitch. Give us a little background on The Pitch. Where did that come from? The lyrics and the songwriting. Give us a little, fill us in about that.
Well, I guess that song it's about relationships and
Right.
how sometimes in a relationship, the you have a set of rules or the way you look at something, and sometimes it's not exactly the same
Hmm.
as other people or the other people you're involved with.
Right.
And it was trying to, it's funny, I had gotten very exposed to baseball because of my son. And so I don't know why that metaphor came to me, but it really came from that, idea of how you keep score sometimes in relationships, and that
Right.
might not be positive to do.
Right.
But trying to make sense of the rules and what's helpful and what's not helpful. And I was like really trying to grapple that in my relationship,
Mhm.
not always able to figure it all out. And then I think something about the song and finding the metaphor helped me a lot.
Yeah, I mean that's such a great song. We're going to play a little bit of that to give everyone a chance to hear it. I mean, you did such a fantastic job with the song. Let's see if we can cue this up right here and play a little bit of it, which will be awesome.
Thank you. Wow.
So
I,
hopefully we can get this going
I
here.
didn't realize you were going to play it live. Wow. Thank
Yeah,
you.
we're going to do it live right now. Yeah. You'll hear a little bit of the pitch. Make sure we're hitting the right buttons on this board. Alyssa Rallo Bennett, Rallo, the pitch, Celebrity Spotlight.
First the wind up, and then the pitch. If we're keeping score, I never said which was which. You took the field, I took your name. But the rules seem to change. First the nice girl, and then the bitch. Either or, I'll let you throw the switch. Don't come home just 'cause you can't be alone. Don't you wonder what might make you fit? I have grown tired of conditions and bullshit decisions from the still listening. Back on the ground, dirt in my face. Clean up and swallow, spit out the waste. What we need, at least between you and me, is a steady wind before we hit the grave. I have grown tired of conditions and bullshit decisions, but I'm still listening. When the crowd goes high, don't turn to stone. Don't wanna be on my own. When the crowd goes home, don't turn to stone. Don't wanna be on my own. When the crowd goes home, don't turn to stone. Don't wanna be on my own. When the crowd goes home, don't turn to stone. Don't wanna be alone.
Wow, good stuff right there. The pitch, Rallo right there. Wonderful. What a wonderful voice you have. Do you have any voice training? How did that beautiful voice come about?
Oh, well, thank you. I actually didn't think that I was so funny. I didn't really, I grew up, my mother had an amazing voice and a very powerful voice.
Mhm.
And it's an interesting story, I guess, is she used to criticize me all the time.
Right.
And I just did not sing. I would not sing or anything. And then sort of accidentally, I ended up singing a little bit, in choir, I think when I was, camp and things like that when I was really young. And then in college, because I was acting, I ended up singing with a rock group for a while. And then my career kind of took off in acting. And so I just kind of went in that direction. But, many years later, I decided I was going to get back to the guitar. And then once again, sort of accidentally, people were asking me to sing back up and and I kind of was getting over my judge of like, I don't sing. And then it became like too difficult to play with this band I was playing with. And because of because of the difficulty, I then ended up just working by myself and singing with the person that was sort of helping me. Like, you can write, you can do it. Like, I was just lucky to have this person named Kevin Kendrick, who was helping me sort of arrange the music and kind of helping me get back into music. And I never think I have a good voice. I just end up singing. It's funny. So thank you.
I think you have a great voice. And also you debuted this song at the bitter end, right? In New York City, along with the others.
I played the bitter end twice. And then we also recently played at Rockwood.
Oh, Rockwood. Yeah, I was going to ask you about Rockwood. Tell us about that, the Rockwood Theater.
And I have to say, like, we're one of the last few people that played at Rockwood because Rockwood closed. It's such an iconic place. It just closed. It was.
I didn't even know
that.
That.
Part of it closed over COVID, but they kept their last place open.
Right.
And then after COVID, and we played these songs there and the bitter end, and then.
Nice.
So,
any plans for any future dates to perform?
I love performing live, and I am planning on it. And I don't have any dates at the moment, but I am planning on it. There's somebody who approached me about booking, booking me around at least maybe the tri-state area. So it's like, I just have to, I'm finishing a movie right now and working on a pilot that's getting out there. So I'm very focused on that, but I'm going to go back to it. But I will post and make sure that I post where it is, wherever.
Awesome. Yeah, let us know. I mean, definitely, I'm sure everyone wants to come out to see you for sure. What about Closets? I know it's about a struggling relationship, right?
Once again.
Now, was that personal experience, or that just something you just came up with?
It is personal, but I have to say I was inspired by a friend of mine who has been on again, off again since high school, I think.
Oh, wow.
With someone. It's been a very difficult relationship that she's been on again, off again, and it's been a little bit addictive and this and that. And so I was asking her how she was doing, and she said, the closets are taken.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, oh my God. I was just like so struck with that idea that, at the end of a relationship, or when a relationship needs to be, that it's like clearing the closets out. And I then personalized the song, but it really came, I credit my friend to inspiring me to write it.
Right. Well, I mean, it's also such a great song. I'm going to see if we can play that here. I'm going to see if I could cue this up on here and see if we could get a little bit of that, which would be awesome. Let's see. There we go. Closets. Rallo on Celebrity Spotlight.
Just to make me crazy, you called her baby a second time. Whether it's reflection or you just want attention, who is the fool today? There's no space inside. When you set sail, touch the third rail. I'm like a king, but I know you're the same. Cause of mine, cause of mine. Drink the milk and honey. Took our toys and money. Then cried as we tried to apologize. Bending imperfections, claiming your exemptions. We're not equal in your mind's eye. Closets are dead, closets are full, closets are shaped. We can all when you set sail, you touch the third. You act like you changed, but I know you're the same. Closets are mine, closets are mine. Foolish can I be? Don't know how to stand up and lead. Got around in that song. Maybe nothing goes wrong. Compartmentalizing's a lonely aisle. Been wandering so long. Second guessing another song. Unpack the size I've had to hide. Closets are taken. Despite what you tried. Closets are taken. When you say sail, touch the ground. Like a king, but I know you're the same. Closets are mine. Closets are mine. Closets are mine. Closets are mine.
So good. Closets right there. Listen, Rallo, Bennett Rallo on Celebrity Spotlight. So good. What a fantastic song.
Thank you. Thank you.
Love it. Absolutely.
Hopefully it's fun and therapeutic for other people too.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I mean, you've done so much. I have to ask you, what was it like to work with Christopher Lloyd? Because I know you worked with Christopher Lloyd at one point.
It was actually a dream.
Mm-hmm.
He's a really great person and so humble, understated, hardworking. He's a movie star, but he doesn't act like one, you know,
Right.
and in the best way. He was just such a collaborator. It was such a joy to be around him and work with him. He, you know, sometimes when someone's a really big star and you're working with them, and if you're not as famous as they are, you know, there's a kind of like attitude, and he
Right.
was so respectful and like took my direction, you know, like he always took my direction and always made it into something. And he asked questions. And when I was working with, he was in some scenes with the kid that was playing his grandson.
Right.
And the kid was about 10 at the time, and he's a wonderful kid, but
Mm-hmm.
he had rehearsed with his mother and had kind of like locked into a performance, and it was really hard to break.
Mm-hmm.
So I found a way to direct him through Christopher Lloyd.
Oh,
So
wow.
I gave Chris directions to do things to get him to kind of like be authentic and real. And
Nice.
he was, such a team player in that way. He was beautiful. And also he was playing an 81-year-old,
Oh, was it?
which was his age at the time, but he is like a 40-year-old. So he really is young and, has but he had to act like an 81-year-old that was in the film and did it completely. Like he was really into his character. He was
Right.
amazing.
Wow. And that was a film called Rerun, right?
That was Rerun. Yeah. And Rerun is also streaming in a lot of places too. I believe Apple TV and Amazon, and you can see it. It's really a delightful film that's kind of like a modern day version of It's a Wonderful Life.
Right.
In a different way, but
Cool.
very modern.
So awesome. And one of the very first ones that you released, of course, you mentioned The Pack. That was with Lucy Arnaz. Tell me about working with Lucy Arnaz. I met her. She was actually very, very nice. What was she like to work with?
Such a trooper. She is also a movie star and a singer. She's actually does a lot of singing.
Yes.
And so she's the kind of person that when the camera's not on her, she's like there to shoot the other side of your close up, or she was so trusting, never had an attitude about anything. She'd work, it was an independent film, so she'd work really long hours, and never complained. She really was great for the morale of the whole cast and everything. She was terrific.
Yeah, I'm sure you're a big fan of the I Love Lucy show, so that must have been
oh my God
for you. Yeah.
I really am. And I just have to shout out my credit to my husband, who wrote both Rerun and The Arrival. And he wrote the script. It was great. But when we did The Pack, that was a collaboration with us, and he wrote that script too. He's an amazing writer.
Yeah, Elizabeth Moss was also in there, right?
Elizabeth Moss originally got a really big role in the project, and I think then she got cast in something else, and her agents and managers sort of wiggled her out of the bigger contract. But we were like, look, my producer, Jocelyn Herman Saccio, was like, look, just get her to do the that really important cameo in the film, and that's all. And so she did. The whole film is based on an exchange of something that happened between Lucy's character and the fact that one of her students bothered her so much that her really intelligent student smoked, and so she became the Henry Fonda character in 12 Angry Men. That's
right.
Like, I think we have to talk about this. And everybody's like, are you kidding me? This is a crazy case. It's, whatever. And she's like, no, I think we should talk about this. And so that's what Lucy did. And that was about Elizabeth Moss's character.
Yeah. Now, Stone Street Studios, you also work with a lot of new actors and actresses as well, right?
We do. Yeah. So we are a film studio. And we also have this really unique residency program where actors, we have a professional program, and we also have something where NYU Tisch School of the Arts drama majors are allowed to get credit for being in residence at our film studio.
Oh, nice.
And that's where they come and learn everything about taking their theater training into making movies, and we make movies with them.
Yeah.
And so a lot of times we include them in the movies we do, and lots of good things happen for them and so on. So.
Yeah. And do you enjoy being behind the camera or in front of the camera? What do you enjoy more?
It really depends. I mostly have been enjoying being behind the camera, directing and so on. But recently, my husband directed me in a short, which was kind of fun. And we had a really good time, and it was the right role. So I hadn't been doing it for quite some time, but I did really enjoy doing it. And he's writing something now that I think he's writing a part for me. So I might it's a feature. So I might go back to it.
Nice.
A little bit.
That's awesome. Now, you also worked on a podcast too, right?
Well, I've done a lot of podcast interviews, but
I saw that, yeah, because I was checking out YouTube and I came across, I said, you were doing interviews. I said, I have to ask her about that.
yeah, well, at Stone Street, we do something called Behind the Scenes at Stone Street. And that's where we specifically interview people who are either actor hyphenates, people who are kind of doing what we are bringing into our residency, which is a lot of times we kind of have this mindset of training actors to be storytellers, not think of themselves so much as like, oh, I'm an actor and I have to get work, but more like, how do I, what part of the story, and usually help them become sometimes producers and actors, at least produce their own careers.
Right.
So this series is really good for the public because it's a real insight into what happens behind the camera.
Right.
So we have different wonderful, really good guests. I mean, we've had people from like Mike Myers to Susan Sarandon to people like that. And I'm working with a producer now who is trying to bring in some of the SNL people. I'm going to have, well, I shouldn't say yet, but yeah, we have some nice people coming up. So we usually edit them. Right. And then we put them out so that whether the community, and it seems to be growing in that way.
Right. Do you do most of your shooting in New York or other cities as well?
Just at our studio. So this is where I am. I'm literally in my office at Stone Street right now.
Oh, cool.
And so we have 2 floors in Chelsea where we do all our production, and that's where we shoot that show.
Oh, wow. So you do most of it right there. I am in Brooklyn, yes.
You're in Brooklyn. Well, sometime you have to come to our studio. And
absolutely. I'd love to come and check it out.
Yeah.
So, but another great song, Don't Wake Me. Tell me about Don't Wake Me.
Oh, well, Don't Wake Me is kind of like a lullaby in a sort, of sort maybe. And it's kind of like meant to take people out of dark spots or out of a dark place. And it could also be not wanting to wake from something good, or don't wake me because things are difficult. So I wanted to kind of like just sort of turn it on its head, and it just kind of came out. So
another great song. Let's play a little bit of Don't Wake Me here, see if we can get this going here. See if we can cue it up and get a little bit of it. Here we go. Here we go. Rallo, Celebrity Spotlight. It's called Don't Wake Me. Don't Wake Me, Rallo, right there. Beautiful song. Once again, beautiful voice.
So much.
So tell us how we could get these wonderful songs.
I think they're streaming everywhere, so there's a little bit of a thing with my name. So I have a long name. It's the name I use in filmmaking. And I released everything originally under my name. But I've just wanted for a long time to just sort of see what happened if I just used Rallo. So that's my kind of like my maiden name.
Right.
But so it wasn't as hard as it seemed. I just tried it kind of on a whim to just have everything put under Rallo. And I think that's how you can find me. But the best way is to either look for the song, look for my album Anymore, Elisa Rallo Bennett, or Rallo, because I think it's under Rallo now, everything.
Okay.
Or under the song The Pitch, just search. It should be on all platforms, The Pitch.
It looks like Spotify, Apple Music, iTunes, Amazon, Deezer, iHeartRadio. You're everywhere.
And actually, if you follow me on Instagram, or you can actually, my website, my directing website has a page just for my music. So that's actually another way to sort of keep up with like a lot of the reviews, or when I'm playing live, elisabennett.com, or just Google Elisa Rallo Bennett. It's easy to find me on my website.
Yeah. And also, before I let you go, I wanted to ask you about working with Jeff Daniels. What was that like?
Well, that film is Rain Without Thunder.
Mm-hmm.
And Rain Without Thunder, unfortunately, is very timely right now. Even though it was like the first film that the first feature my husband and I collaborated on. He wrote and he directed it. And I helped produce it and was in it. Mm-hmm. And Jeff Daniels was amazing because he signed on because it was about reproductive rights. Mm-hmm. It was way ahead of its time, but it kind of led us to, it foresaw what's happening right now. Right. So it's very, very topical. He did the film because he knew it was really important. And he's just a great guy. He's a really, really wonderful person. My husband is the person to talk about him specifically. But he came in and he did his job, and and all these other actors like Linda Hunt, Frederick Forrest, Steve Zahn, Ming-Na Wen, who all have series now. Right. They were all in it. They're wonderful. It's great, and the film is out there. Also, it's online.
Also, Betty Buckley was a part of that, wasn't she?
Betty Buckley plays the mom. Yeah.
I remember her from Eight Is Enough. She was the mom on
yes,
Eight Is Enough
back
in the day. Yeah.
You really know your history. Yeah. No, it's true. And she was a cool person also, and she did it because she really believed in what the script was about,
Mm. Yeah. And of course, we talked about that you work with so many actors and actresses. Any advice to any actors or actresses starting out in the business right now?
Well, if they're in New York, they should come to do Stone Street's residency if they're actually starting out, because you can actually start to get yourself into great projects and make things and learn things. And we introduce people to agents and casting people. So if people are in New York, or they can do our summer residency, it's a really good thing. But I also, just hang in there, do the work for the right reasons, and, learn how to produce your own career. And that's an easy thing to say. That's why hate to say it, like coming to Stone Street is just a wonderful, like they should look up Stone Street. It's a wonderful place to kind of find a community, get into independent film, and also, learn how to produce your own career.
Right. Now you're on social media as well, right? Facebook, that people can find you there as well.
Yeah, they can find Elisa Rallo Bennett on Instagram. Maybe I'll start a Rallo Instagram soon. And they can also find me on Facebook. And I think I'm going to deal with Threads soon.
Cool. Yeah. I mean, anything else happening new with films coming out that we should look for coming up in the very near future?
Well, we're always releasing shorts because our short films, we do a lot of shorts. So you can go to Stone Street YouTube and see new shorts coming out, as well as those interviews constantly. Everything that gets released, you can go to stonestreet.net to see whatever the latest release is as well, including where The Arrival is playing now. But we're working on a new pilot, which we have a producer for who hopefully is going to get it picked up, called Scarecrow.
Oh, wow.
And I can't say who it's starring yet because they don't want to announce it yet, so I'll get in trouble. It's got some amazing stars in it, or attached to it, and so hopefully Scarecrow will get picked up by, I don't know, Amazon, Netflix, one of them.
You've worked with so many amazing stars over your career already. Anybody you haven't worked with that you would like to work with?
A million people, yes. Yes, oh my gosh. I'd like to work with Kate Blanchett any day of the week. There's so many wonderful actresses and actors, and gosh, I didn't know you were going to ask me that question. I have a list ready because it is really, gosh. I was thinking about Benicio del Toro. My God, I'd love to work with him, and Javier Bardem, and Daniel Day-Lewis, and so many people that are. I want to work with Emily Blunt, and Miles Teller came out of our studio. He trained at our studio.
Oh, wow.
I really want to work with Miles on a feature that I've been developing. I always thought of him for, and I would like to work with him. He's worked with us when he was in our residency, but I'd love to work with him on a feature with a few different actresses opposite him.
Yeah, I mean, so much shooting goes on here in New York City, and people don't realize. I mean, people think, it's out in Hollywood and Los Angeles, but so much happens right here in New York.
Oh my gosh, yes. And more, like, because more studios have been built and are being built, like in the New York, New Jersey, tri-state area, and Brooklyn, and so on.
Oh, Steiner Studios is huge right now, downtown Brooklyn.
And also, because I have friends over at the Film and Television, I hear the Martin Scorsese studio that is like unbelievable.
Really?
Oh, yes.
So awesome. Always so nice to talk to you, Alyssa. Thank you so much for joining me, and as we presented these great songs to our listeners. And again, you have such a beautiful voice, and you're so talented.
Oh, thank you. You're so nice. And thank you for asking me about all these things. What a surprise. And and a shout out to Tina Masitis,
Yes, Tina's the best. She's been a friend of mine for so many years, from back in my WPLJ days, and I used to do appearances for her when she was with the American Cancer Society back in
And that's how I met her too, because I directed a public service announcement for them, and that is how I met her.
We used to go to all those the American Smokeouts, and she used to invite me to that, of course. And then I was there with Frankie Valli and Fabio and so many great people over the years. And we've remained friends so many years. And she's also done some public relations for me as well. And I know she's worked with you and so many different people over the years. God.
She really helped. We do Granite Awards, and she helped us out so much on our last Granite Award, which was Rachel Sennett, who came out of our residency program, and she was just amazing. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you so much. If you want to promote anything else in your career, please come back to Celebrity Spotlight. We'd love to have you back.
Maybe we'll come back next time with the Yesters and something.
Oh, that'd be fantastic. I'll look forward to that. Thank you so much. And if I'm in New York, I'll come by, check out your studios.
You absolutely, it's a date.
You
All
got it.
right.
Thanks,
Thank
Alyssa.
you.
I appreciate it so much. Have a fantastic night. Thanks for joining me. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much. It
Okay,
was
you
really
take care.
fun.
It
You're a
was fun
joy.
too. Take
Thank you.
care. Thank you. All right. Celebrity Spotlight right there. Alyssa Rallo Bennett, fantastic actress, fantastic singer. I want to thank you so much for joining me tonight on Celebrity Spotlight. Also, everybody who listens to me every week, thank you so much. I know producer Cindy's been out there, and I'm sure she's got a lot of people who are listening. I know Brad Siegel in Brooklyn and Team Siegel. Thank you so much, Brad. He's always out there. Let's see who else Cindy has out there. She's got Leon John Jock from Florida is out there. So many people. Of course, producer Cindy, she's out in Long Island. She's with me all the time, helping me out on the show. Tom Payton. So many people that listen to this show every single week. My mom in Brooklyn listens to this show. And we have so many more great celebrities coming up in February. I know Bill Turner is going to be here. Of course, he played with Bill Haley in the Comets for a time. Of course, Bill Haley had so many of those great songs, Rock Around the Clock, of course, and See You Later, Alligator. So Bill Turner will be here sometime in February. And we got a brand new band. We're going to talk to Adam, who is from a band called Radiance. So we'll find out all about Radiance. They're a brand new band, and he I know writes some of the songs for them, and he produces them. So we'll talk to Adam all about Radiance coming up in February as well. So I'll keep you posted. Thank you so much for joining me tonight, and we will talk again in a couple of weeks when we have Bill Turner on the show. And I will keep you up to date on Facebook of when that is exactly going to happen. And once again, have a fantastic weekend, and we will talk again soon. Thank you, Alyssa Rallo Bennett, for joining me on Celebrity Spotlight. And thank you, everybody, for joining me. It's always a pleasure. Take care. Everybody have a great night.